Hi knitters, welcome to PJKnits. My name's Penny, I live in Central Illinois, and I'm a knitter, a blogger, and a YouTube podcaster. And thank you for coming by and spending some time with me this morning. Today is Monday, July 22nd, and we've had some, pretty decent weather in the last few days. I've been able to have my windows open. It's kind of humid this morning, and it's going to warm up later this week in mid-80s, 85, and kind of fluctuate. So I decided to turn my air back on, plus people will be cutting grass and all that, and so cutting down on some of the allergies or whatever. So that's kind of the weather report for Central Illinois here at Shea PJKnits. Please grab your knitting, grab a cup of something, and let's talk about some knitting. Tastes good. Oh, well, big thing. Today's episode, if you are a parent of children of the 80s and you were watching Sesame Street with your kids as I was, or whether it was in the background, I wasn't necessarily watching it, but listening while they watched it, you'll know that with Sesame Street, and it may still be the case now, I don't even know if Sesame Street's still on because I have no kids here that actually actively watch it, let's put it that way. But if you remember way back when, the big thing was today's episode is brought to you by the letter something and something. And so for today's episode of PJKnits, it is brought to you by the color orange and a touch of pink, as will become evident in just a little while. But first up, I want to talk about the Makers Meetup that's coming this next weekend. Kendra and I are super excited about the response that we've had to that up in Hoffman Estates, and we are looking so forward to that. Looking forward to just spending a weekend connecting with old friends, meeting new friends, doing some shopping at the two local yarn shops there in Elgin, just having a total immersed couple of days of knitting, and we're so looking forward to that, as I know that many of you are. Fun things about knitting retreats like this for me too is to be able to sit around and knit with people, but also I love seeing what you all are knitting on. So please bring your knitting, and if you have knits that feel okay in the summertime or in air conditioning, please wear them or bring them to show them off just kind of informally, because I get some of my best ideas on other people, as I'll talk about. So we're just looking forward to it. So we will see you. We are going up on Thursday so that we'll be there for Friday morning, and I know others are too. So I look forward to seeing some of you in the lobby, and definitely on Friday or Saturday if you're in the area. So come on out to the Hilton Garden Inn in Hoffman Estates. And again, a big thank you out to the ladies of Frivolous and Frugal and the 3-Ply podcast, who really were the ones that got this all started several years ago and did the groundwork for it. And we so appreciate you letting us just kind of slide into this, doing this. We've enjoyed what we've done so far, and there'll be a few surprises along the way, things that are a little different, but we're so thankful for what they've done. So anyway, let's get right into the knits, because I have some things I need to do today and tomorrow and to get ready to go. So first up, finished objects. I'm going to talk about Look at My Holes by James and Watts, and that is what I am wearing here. Now, I'm going to preface this by, when I first saw this pattern come out some time ago, and I don't even know that it was last year, maybe the year before. I cannot remember what the, let's see. Oh, 2023. So it did come out last year. I probably saw it on Ravelry and maybe Instagram too. And at the time, I looked at it, I'm like, well, obviously that's not for me. It's, and at first glance, it wasn't anything that I really wanted to knit. So I didn't think about it anymore. But as one does, when we were at the meetup last year, the three ladies from 3-Ply podcast all had one on, and they all looked great on them. Angie and Joyce and Irene all did different colors and a little bit different variations somewhat, but they looked wonderful on them. And so it got me to thinking, oh, that would be nice to, maybe I should look at that again. But it was the end of the season, the end of the summer knitting season for me, so I just kind of, left it aside. When I started to think back mid-May that maybe I'd like to knit it again and look at it seriously. And so I bought the pattern and looked at the pattern and thought, okay, how can I adapt this to, of course, for me to wear? That was first up. Second up was, do I have anything in PYS that I can knit it out of? Because I really didn't want to go out and buy anything for it, because I'm still unsure if this was a style or if this is something that I could make work for me. And as luck would have it, I went to my stash and I had in one of my spring summer bins, I had Cascade Yarn Sunseeker. And here is the info on the Sunseeker. And I have had this in my stash many years, greater than 6 years, when I happened upon this. I used it in a royal blue with Stellina in it several years back. It was right before COVID, or maybe during COVID, because I remember wearing as a red, white, and blue at some point in time. So I had knit something else out of it, and I had this in my stash. Now, it is like an orangey apricot and has a thread that you can't really see too well. Maybe if I just kind of do one of those. It has like a gold Stellina running through it. So the yarn is 47% cotton, 48% acrylic, and 5% metallic. And so I did a swatch and I blocked it, made notes in my book, in my journal of what the sizing was before blocking. I always do that, and after blocking. And so then I decided to cast on. Now, the whole time I was knitting this, I thought this will be a fun knit. Still thinking in my mind, I'm not so sure that I'm going to ever wear it, but I'm going to motor through. And it was an interesting lace pattern, which I loved. It was an interesting pattern to do. And at times I had to pay attention, but still a fun knit. And so I motored through with it. I want to tell you the specifics. I cast on a size large with a size 9 needles. And then I went to about 19 inches and I stretched it, really hard to see what I was getting. And it was about 44 inches, and which is fine at that point in time, 19 inches. But I knew that I really wanted maybe a little bit more in the hip room, as I do on other knits, because I am pear-shaped, right? And so in my hips, I knew that maybe 44, and I knew that it would block out a bit. But just to hedge my bets, I changed it up to a 10.5-inch needle and did about a 1.5 repeats after that to encompass. And it went to about 22 inches before the ribbed hem. So I added some width that way. I knew that when I blocked this, that if I had plenty of length in it, that I could pull it wider. And you know what happens when you pull something wider in blocking, then it loses its length. But I knew that I could encompass that because I had added, I was down to 22 inches and then I was going to do the rib. I switched up on the rib at the hem to a size 8 needle, and then I bound it off in with the 10.5 needles to be sure that I had, and when I bound this off, I bound it off in just normal bind off, just a, in pattern, knit 1 purl 1, in pattern. So, but I usually do it on a much larger needles to get the looseness, and I was okay with the 10.5 needles by the bind off. I was happy with it. For the collar, it was supposed to have a rib band at the top, And after seeing Irene's, I saw that she had, I think Angie crochet hers around hers. And so I decided to do that because I didn't want to really add any more to the neck. I wanted it to come down and be not so close up at the neck, which is not normal for me. You kind of get close up so you can see that he has a rib around there, right? So I just did a single crochet all the way around, and I'm really, really happy with that. Then for the sleeves, it was 64 stitches. I picked up 64 stitches, and again, because I always like more, I don't think that I really actually did sleeve. Let's see, they don't really have, I don't have a finished, each sleeve had 58 stitches, and when I was done, I picked up 64 stitches for each of the, for underneath the arms, which was very much sufficient for it. I used a size 9 needle on it. I went back to a size 9 for it, and then I worked 1.5 repeats of the pattern so that I could have, just a little bit. I'm very happy with it, and then ended it up with about an inch rib on the arms. And so then I went to the blocking, and I wet blocked it, and I laid it out upstairs on the bed, and I stretched it widthwise, and knowing that I had plenty of, like, 23 inches, which is about what I really wanted. I like, on a sweater, say in the wintertime, if I'm not wearing it over a dress like this one, I like to have maybe somewhere between 24, 26, because I want them to just lay down over my back and all of that. I don't want anything, I want it to cover as it would be. So when I blocked it, pulled it a little bit, not a whole lot, and blocked it, and then tried it on, and I have to say I am totally happy with it. Now you can look on my Ravelry page, project page, which is PJKnits1. You can look there and get all the specifics as to what I did. There is a little walkabout on it on Instagram, which is PJKnits, showing you how it looked. And my whole intention at the time when I was doing this was to wear it over my pink dress that I have talked about before. And I love where it comes down. I bought some biker shorts to wear underneath it because I have big thighs. If that's TMI, sorry, but I want to be able to wear it in the heat. And so I bought some biker shorts to wear underneath it. My granddaughters do it all the time, and they kind of gave me that idea. So I did that, and I am totally happy with this. I am pleasantly surprised at how much I really liked it. I just can't get over that. It's funny how when you see something initially and you say, oh, I will never do that. And then it's like, I love it. I love everything about it. So I'm super pleased about that. That is finished object number 1. Now for finished object number 2. This is about a year in the making, because at last year's meetup, again, you get some of my best ideas when I'm out and about at retreats and meetups. My friend Annetta was knitting on a pair of socks out of Desert Vista Dye Works Visio, and the colorway was Ireland. And I said, oh, I love that. And she said, well, when I'm done, you can have my leftovers. And I knew that I could get a pair of shorties out of it. And the funny thing was, while she was at the meetup, she finished it, gave me the rest of the ball. I brought it home. I didn't start on it right away. I did start maybe in the wintertime, maybe, on a different pair of shorty socks, and then it became evident that what I had done is I was going to need a contrast on the other pair that I had, and I had not started with the contrast. And it was evident when I was weighing as I was working them that I was not going to have enough yarn for it. So I ripped them out, kind of left it around, and then finally back in April, I pulled the yarn back out along with a contrast color, and I finally cast on. And what I cast on is the Weekend Shorty Socks by Summer Lee Design. This is a free pattern of her shorties, and I printed it off just in black and white because I didn't need the colors. She originally has this done in changing colors and all that, and I knew that I was not going to do that for sure. But anyway, so I cast them on. I did the Weekend Shorty Socks in a size medium. I am using a Chiagu size 1, and I am torn these days about a couple things when it comes to socks. I found after I finished these socks that I'm like, I really want to knit, you know, and I've talked about those in the last episode, some holiday socks, and I have some holiday yarn. I am torn by which direction to go because, you know, I feel like I need to use a size 1, which is what I did on these, a Chiagu. I used DPNs. I feel like I should use a size 1 because what I found on the socks that I have in my wardrobe of old were always done on a size 2. I would start with a size 3 for the cuff because I had a little bit thicker calves. And I would always start on a size 3 and then I would go down to a size 2. I found in the last few years while I'm wearing them about in the house mostly and in my boots that by the end of the day they're really loose and really sloppy. And that's because the gauge grows and all of that. So I have been toying and I played around with a pair of socks and another pair of shorties on a size 1, and I also did these on size 1. Where I'm torn is I don't like the feel of a size 1 on my foot. I like that size 2. So I'm playing around with perhaps going down in needle size, going back to my size 2s. I'm playing around with that on a pair I'm knitting now. Going back to the size 2, using less stitches when I get to the foot so that there's not a less ease, making less ease. And I'm going to talk about that, you know, down in a little bit. So anyway, I finished my, you know, just shy of a year, my socks from my leftover yarn from my friend Annetta, who, and if you have not, please check out Alt Knits. Annetta, Lindsay, and Tasha all have a podcast, and they have a new one up just this last weekend. It was so much fun to touch bases via YouTube with them. So if you haven't, check theirs out because it's a super fun. I love those gals. They're friends. They're friends. First they were friends, and so anyway, check them out. But anyway, here they are. And I don't know what the black is. It was out of my stash. I had plenty to do with that. I was worried about having enough for the sock, even though when I was done the first time I measured it. So I did not pull out the yarn to try and get them matching, but I'm okay with that. These were super, super fun to watch. I just loved, you know, watching the colors, you know, come out and all about that. So I played around with a couple of things on this. I played around with my 1 Chiagu double points because I'm a double point gal, but I also played around a little bit with the magic loop on a 40-inch. I am having, and I know it's because of all the knitting that I'm doing and small circumferences, meaning like socks and in general. I'm having problems with my arthritis in my thumbs here. So I played around with Magic Loop on just a little bit, and you know, I don't know that it necessarily helped, but anyway, I played around with a couple of things on that. So that was so super cool to have those done. I started with 49 grams of the DVD and 17 grams of the black, When I was done, I'd used 33 grams of the DVD and 15 grams of the black. So I still have a little bit left over that I can put into some sort of scrappy blanket for sure. But super, super loving everything about that. And then I took a picture for my, my journal, as I do these days. Put it into the journal. Again, if you need the information off that, you can check the PJKnits one Ravelry project pages. So that is my second finished object. So in keeping with, let's call it the orange theme and sweaters, I wanted to show you some whips that I have. And what I've said before is this is my last summer sweater. I'm fairly certain. I have one other that's kind of sort of summer into fall, but this says Yume Number 2, and I'm going to do it. I've talked about it before. I bought the yarn up at Elgin Knitworks when Debbie and I were up there a couple of weeks ago. Saw the sample done at Wool & Co. and then went to Elgin Knitworks and bought the yarn because Wool & Co. didn't have it sitting out on their shelves, and I was at that point in time, I was like, I'll just check it down the road or I'll be back. So anyway, this is Yume Number 2 that I am working on. Oh, and before I forget, I started my weekend shorties April 3rd and finished it on July 16th. Sometimes you have to work into it. Yume. I am using Remix Light. This is my first Yume Number 1 I bought 2 years ago at Elgin Knitworks, and it was Remix Light, and I loved everything about it. And so when I saw this sample done at Wool & Co., I decided it was time to do another one maybe for summer. Now the fun thing about this is it's going to be, as most of mine are, almost elbow length sleeves. The colorway is bamboo. They call it bubblegum. Sorry. They call it bubblegum. To me, this is salmon, not bubblegum. But something that I have found this morning while I was putting things together for the podcast, what I realized is my fog shawl that I showed you guys last episode will go wonderfully over this for fall too. So I'm not super worried about getting it done to wear it, anytime soon. I'm going to take it and work on this at the meetup because I don't think I'm going to get it done. But what I did do with this one is last night I finished a ball in the body, and I decided to put it on some holders for now, leave it on the needles, put it on the stitch stoppers on there, and then do the sleeves, because I'd like to do the sleeves and get them done so that when I'm working on it up at the meetup, all I have to do is the body round and round and then the ribs. So this is out of Remix Light, and I'm loving this. Now, I had said before last time, my first one, I love wearing it, but I think it has grown just a little bit, and so I went down a size on this one. My first one, I did a medium, the M1, and this one I'm doing a small, and since I'd already made the first one, I knew what my gauge swatch was to be. So that is one of the whips that I am working on. I just started that at the end of June after we were up there. I'm keeping to the size small, and I'm using, I used a size 4 needle at the neck because, again, I don't want them to put they tend to, because I'm round shoulders again, they tend to kind of grow on me or come over. So what I've done on this one is I have cast on, and I went for about 7 inches. I used a size 4, and then after I came out of that yoke, then I increased my needle to a size 6 needle. And I may even go up just, I don't think I'm going to have to go up a needle for the hips as we come down, but I'll know that this later this week, but it's Remix Light Barocco. It's a nylon, cotton, acrylic, silk, and linen, and I really like it. I think it's going to be great for, you know, transitional sweater and wearing that shawl. I know my first one I can wear, you know, late fall, early spring, and some into the winter because it's just, I made it long sleeve and it's comfy, cozy. So an orange project and something that is nearing completion, hopefully. Okay. So the next one I want to share with you is, I was excited after I finished this and was working on some sweaters and seeing what I still had in the queue, is Wave. This is one I shared with you all some time ago from the line of Summer 2023. And I wanted to knit it out of this exact yarn. And so then I was able to purchase it from Mother Knitter, is where I got the yarn last year, and I started it. And so I'm super excited about this. The yarn that I am using for it is Double Sunday, the Petite Knit colorway. This is the orange, and this is the pink. There, again, there's a kind of a theme, right, going, the orange and pink. And so I've got that. And then what I did, I had done the back. It's an interesting construction. And I had started the back, and last weekend, I thought, you know, I want to get that back out. So this is the back. They have you put it on a holder and leave it, and then when you're done, and then you go back and you join at the pickup. And now I'm working down to the front. So here is where this join is. And it's such an interesting construction, and I'm going to work, you work back and forth. Now I work back and forth on the back, and now I'm working back and forth on the front, and at some point in time down here it's going to join together, and I'm going to go back into the round, and I will pick up and be doing more lace. So I'm just super excited, and this is such a fun construction. I'm excited about it, and again, it's in keeping with that orange and definitely a little bit of pink theme. It has it on the sleeves as well. Now again, I'm not sure I'm going to do pink pants, but I'd love to get like a burnt orange pant out of that. Wouldn't that be fun? And it's by Thea Vesterby, yeah, Wave. And there you go. So it's just a fun knit. It's, again, when I get to the lace, I will have to pay attention to it. And it's on a size, I believe it's on a size 4 needle as well. I believe it's on, I don't know if it's in, was it in this one? Let's go back here. I thought I had it tagged. Oh yeah, my little tags there. Denise sent those to me, and they come in so handy in my book. It's Wave Summer 2023. The nice thing about this is I had last year for the meetup, I had a green sweater, and it was out of the same Petite Knit Double Sunday yarn from Sandus Garn, and so I already knew what my gauge was. So I'm living off of that gauge, and I've got it on a size 4 needle, and that's the other thing. That's what I was getting gauge with. It feels good on there, but for me it's just a little tight in the hands, and that does not help either. But so it's not something that you're going to knit on all the time, and I think that once I get past the back and forth, and loosens up a little bit on the 4. I may go to a 5 as I go down, but I'm super excited about this, the way it's coming together. I started it back in April. There's no real timeline for it to be finished. I'd like to wear it this fall, so it was fun to bring it back out of what I had going for sure. So. And then the final orange sweater that's on the needles, and I'm just going to share this with you. This is my Alpine Bloom. And it's a little slow going. Again, it is, I'm trying to work on, you know, a little bit of the color work. I've got, I think there's like 59 rows of color work. And I think I just hit 28, 29 this morning. So I have some a ways to go, but when I get back from the meetup, I want to get back at this, because this is going to be, I have pants to go with this and shoes to go with this, and it's going to be a great sweater to wear for the fall, again, as a transitional sweater. The main color, the main yarn here is Plucky Knitter from way back when in my PYS, so that's coming out of PYS in this lovely teal. And then this yarn is Sister Ananse yarn from my local yarn shop, and you know what, it looks really good on there, and it's just a variegated yarn. And so again, slow going, but I'm loving it. I love seeing it there, and so that's the kind of the thought process to get going on that. So that is Alpine Bloom by Caitlin Hunter, and hoping to get back at that soon. Okay, so in keeping with the orange theme, I have a Sandy bag that we're going to give away, and of course it's in orange. And Sandy is such a dear, dear, sweet lady who makes these bags for podcasters, and we can't thank her enough for her contribution to our podcast. It has this lovely print on the inside, a wonderful pocket, and look at this bottom, the same as the handles, and I use mine all the time. Mine is going, I decided again, I take it to knitting with me. Mine's going up to the retreat, the mini meetup, the makers meetup, get it right, Penny, the meetup, and will serve as probably put a knitting project there, and my purse in there will serve as both of those. So we're going to do a giveaway for the next podcast for this particular bag, and all you need to do is comment below, and that's all you need to do is comment, and please like and subscribe. Let's build these numbers up. So just comment below. If you want to mention Sandy bag, that's fine, but just comment below, and I will assume that you want to be in the running for a bag. So thank you, Sandy, and thank you for commenting ahead of time. So now we're going to come to the regular segment of holiday knitting, or hashtag PJKnits holidays, the holidays 2024. I'm going to use this time each podcast, hopefully, to talk just a little bit about holiday knitting and holiday things in general. And first up, I have some finished objects. And again, this could be the reason why the hands hurt a little bit, but I'm having fun with it. First up, I want to share a finished object. And I'll tell you at the end something here in a minute. But anyway, this is from Yarn Inspirations. It is a free pattern. It's Noel Knit Sweater Ornaments. It's a free pattern. And so they are all ornaments. And I decided to pop that out and take one of my minis. And so 2 weeks ago, I made it on a Saturday. You know, I don't know how long it took me to do, if it was 4 hours or whatever, but it wasn't a whole day. I divided it up, you know, in between doing other things. And so here we are. Is that not adorable? Now, what I will tell you after doing this one and the next one, you know, I talked about it last time about maybe doing bunches of these and putting them on packages and giveaways and things like that. No, I don't want to do that. But I think I will put these on my knitting related theme tree that I have. And right now it's kind of my my knitting theme tree is a small one. And I think that this year I'm going to grow it to a 4-footer maybe. I have a 4-footer teal one that is in the playroom normally. And then my knitting one is just a small tabletop one. And I think I need more room because I like doing these little projects, but I'm not going to make them for everybody. When I'm done, they're going to be for me. So here is the first one. Using a mini. I used a size 2 double point bamboo needle on it. And I used, the pattern calls for using 5 needles. And I did that, 5 needles, just like they called for, which is kind of fun. And it says I knit one in about 3.5 hours, and probably 3.5, 4 hours by the time you got it all done. Initially, it was smaller than I thought it was going to be. But after I did block it, I put it in water and laid it out, and so it's perfectly fine. And I used 7 grams. That's all it took. And the thing is, the pattern, which I thought was really cool, and I looked at buying some little hangers to put them on, but the pattern, she gives you the dimensions and the idea of how to make your own. So I'm sure that I have some sort of small wire out into the garage, and I think that's what I'll do, is I'll just make my own little hanger for it. So that was project number 2. And project number 1, sorry. And then last weekend, I started on Saturday night, decided, okay, I still have some of this yarn left, this mini left. And so I went to the Christmas stocking books that I showed last time from my library, 18 Holiday Treasures to Knit. This was an Interweave press book, still available, and some people have it in their library. And so I decided that I would knit a stocking, and I wanted to do it all in one color. And so I still had that mini left, and so this took me 2 hours to knit probably, and that was like it. I knit a little bit after our Zoom meeting, and then the next morning I finished it up and then did a chain for it. And so now I have a little matching. And I think I still, this particular one took 6 grams. So 15 grams, 13 grams, that's what I've used, right? And so I probably still have, I want to say I'll have to double check. I think I weighed it. I had to have weighed it. So I'll have to figure out how much I have left. But I think what I'm going to do now is finish up that mini and do the mitten out of it as well. So I'll have 3 little things, all out of that same colorway. So super fun. If I don't use this book for anything more than that, it was fun. It was a fun knit, and I'm going to keep them. Like I said, I'm going to keep them for me, for my tree, because I like them so much and they're so cute. Next up on the holiday knitting, like I said, after I finished those socks and I got to thinking, I really want to perfect the sock. I want a good fitting sock for me. I don't want to settle, for sure. And so I decided, I saw on YouTube, first of all, I saw a couple of weeks ago, the yarn shop Yarnia out east. They were talking about they do sock bingo for the summer. And I knew that I wasn't going to do the sock bingo because I'm not doing that. I'm not that into socks, I guess. But I noticed that Amanda was going to do a free live YouTube on knitting socks. And so I just tuned in one Thursday night, and I'm like, well, this is fun. Why don't you just kind of knit along? Now, I'm not knitting during the live, but after I saw that she was on, I decided, why not? Why not try knitting, and why not play around with your socks and knit along with her? And so I decided to cast on and put in my little Molly Klein bag a new sock. And I cast this on twice. I had talked about this before. Let's get the right info for you. I am using a yarn that's been discontinued. It's Barking Dog Yarns. It's called Opposite Attract, and there's 200 yards. One skein's predominantly green, and the other skein is predominantly red. And so they're not going to be alike. And so I decided to cast on the 60 stitches with a size 1. I did that in the red to start with a size 1 needle. Okay. And that's when I started thinking about, do I really like the feel of it? And I did not. I feel like it will be snug and everything that I want it to be, but I just didn't like the feel of the yarn. And so you can see there is the yarn. I did not unravel it because I'm like, okay, what if you get down on your green one on a larger needle and you say, I don't like that any better, and you go back, then I will at least have that much, right? So I did that, and then I cast on again with the green in a size 2 needle and the 60 stitches. I like the feel of this. I like the feel already. So I am going to continue on, and she did the second one last Thursday, and I'm not there. But the nice thing about that is that it's out there, and you don't have to, stay knitting along with her. You can go back to the YouTube video; they'll stay out there, and has some great information. She has some things that we'll be able to, some math that we'll be able to download. And so I've cast on mine, and I like the feel of it, and I've had it on my calf, and I like it so much. And I have my little progress keeper on it right now, in keeping with the holidays. So this is a fun thing, and it's another one of those knitting for the holidays. So I'll have some more socks, and look how this is knitting up in this rib. And I like it. I think it's so much, I'm having so much fun with this. But as I said, I had been knitting a lot with double points and semi-small circumferences, and I think that's some of the reason for it. But there you are. There's the two, and there'll be two distinctly different ones. So I'm having fun with this. I'm really having fun with knitting the holidays for sure. So that's kind of some holiday knitting that is going on. And I wanted to let you all know I found my tin that came with Firefly Notes. I had won an advent 2 years ago from the Grocery Girls. I won an advent that were stitch markers. And this was one of the things that came with the stitch markers when you were all done. So I put my holiday, as it would be all kinds of holiday things in here. There's my stitch stoppers, and I've got my progress keeper and a couple of progress keepers in here. I've got the Halloween marker. I'll talk about that as well. I got to pull out my other stitch markers that went with this, the progress keeper that I received from Candy some time ago. So I have to put those in there, and I have something else that I bought from Wool & Co. that came the other day, and it's from Fox and Pine, and this is for my fall knits. So I think I'll put this on my Alpine Bloom. So I've got some stitch stoppers that will go in there. So, okay. So I found my tin. Now I know where my holiday accessories are at. And then, I've got it covered, right? So, books and bags. and we'll talk about from my library. I know a lot of you have knit these in the past, but I wanted to share this book. This is the original book. It's called 55 Christmas Balls to Knit. It's by Arne and Carlos, and I've had it for quite some time. I played around with this on using some of these things for stockings. So I've had my book. Let's see, this was 2011. So this is a fun book out of my library, so you can see how much they've changed since then. And they've had updated version of the book since then. So, and I know that they did for Advent last year, maybe year before. They had knitting balls out of there, and I wouldn't mind doing maybe one of these for mine as well as the season goes on, but not right now. But anyway, this is, you know, it has some fun stuff in here. I want to show you that. They have all the charts in there. So this is the original, and I know, like I said, I know this has been updated, 55 Christmas Balls to Knit by Arne and Carlos. So colorful, festive ornaments, tree decorations, centerpieces, wreaths, window dressings. And I like these up here too, right? I like this. This would be a simple little fun thing to do. A little bit of color work in the round, right? Again, a small circumference, so it's going to be a while, but anyway. What came, this kind of epiphany that I had as I was knitting these mini ornaments here for myself, number one, is that with the issues that I do have on occasion with my hands, that I'm not going to knit a lot of these for other people. They're going to be strictly for me. And the thought was also that after I finish that one skein, that one mini skein that I've got, that I'm not so sure I want to knit any more of those for me. I'm not so sure that that I want to continue down that avenue, although there are some other things that I can't wait to share with you, some patterns that I found for other things. But my friend Nancy that I know from Knitting Camp, she left a comment last time, what about a holiday muscle burl? And I'm giving real thought to that, Nancy. I think that all of those minis would be wonderful just to put them all into a muscle burl and wear it for the holidays, you know, starting right at Christmas. Right at Thanksgiving and into the New Year. So I may just do that. Some sort of hat, definitely out of that. So I'm still on the cusp. I don't know what I want to do with those. I just, you know, I enjoyed knitting these. They were fun to watch them, you know, happen. But when you need a little something, but there's so many things that I have on the needles. And, you know, so I don't know if I want to spend a lot of time on these, but they're a lot of fun. And then finally, for mail call, I just got it today. I found on Etsy somebody out of Naples, Florida. Did not realize she was Naples until this came today, but it is from Wild Oak Stickers. I found a super cool new sticker for my coffee mug, my coffee travel cup. And I have another, I have left a space here because I thought I had already ordered it and I didn't. Got an email today, but I've got a PJKnits one that I'm going to put right there. So that is the mail call as it would be. So, and that's all I have. That's all I have for showing today. I wanted to get this episode out before the Makers Meetup, just to say we're looking forward to seeing you soon, and maybe you'd have a little something to watch while you're getting ready. I've got my suitcase out here on the couch. You can't see it, but I've started making a list of things, and then I have some other things that I have to take, you know, to the meetup. That will be going along as well. So we're just looking forward to that so much. And I am sorry that some of you can't come, and I hope that maybe next year you will. But again, thank you for your great response. Thank you for all the generosity that has been out there, and thank you for watching PJKnits. I really appreciate it, and I am so grateful for this community, and so grateful for those of you who keep coming back, and for those of you who talk about both the podcast and the meetup. I thank you so very, very much for putting the word out there. And so until next time, I'm hoping you're having a great summer. I will be back in a couple of weeks. The plan is hopeful that to get Kendra on a joint Zoom, and we'll record it so that we can talk about the Makers Meetup and just in general, just catch up. So until next time, have a great time, and we'll see you maybe in Hoffman Estates. Bye!